And proper.
Come one, come more to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come more to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people. All right. Hello. Need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessings. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Our host.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone. So, as you can hear, once in a while when we're not in the studio, um, we have that major internet thingamajig. Where's their feedback?
Not from me.
So anyway, I'm really, really, really excited about being part of today and enjoying the beautiful first Thursday in June. So welcome. I am Roderick Daly. I am the host of the Village Radio Talk Show. Please welcome our co-hostess, Dr. Joanne Bryant. And our host was just there, but he seemed to have disappeared. But welcome to both of you to the show.
Good evening.
It's so dry. Good evening. At least do it with a smile. No? All right. Don't start off like that. So we're welcome to the Village Radio Talk Show. Thank you for watching, sharing, viewing. We are looking forward to each of you. Also, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page. It's very, very exciting. Where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. Where it's where it is the thought that success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing outside of talking about success to become successful? Hey, so how are you doing, Dr. Bryant?
Much better today. Now that we don't have the orange steam and smoke coming through. Grateful for fresh air. You know, people who don't appreciate fresh air now, I know that they do now.
I don't know about all that. I don't think people give 2 cents about the damn fresh air.
Really,
I,
really.
no,
You're
I'm in agreement with you though. I mean, I'm definitely in agreement with you. Um, I'm definitely in agreement with you that people should appreciate the fresh air more now, right?
Yesterday was terrible. Hey, John.
Yeah, it was horrible. Not just yesterday, not just all week.
Yeah, that is true.
All week was very, very, very crappy out there for people to not understand what was going on. Um, the people. One of the things that I realized with people is that they don't. And I'm gonna start off with knocking my black community immediately. Right? I'm gonna start off with
Jennifer, that is so true. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
John, Jennifer had a question for you before I get on my bully pulpit, my sandbox. Why are you always driving in the studio?
Well, the studio, no one's at the studio today. So what are you talking about?
Well, I'm not like, why not stationary? Why is I don't see John here?
Because John's working. John, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
Good evening. How are you?
Jennifer is asking why you always driving.
Huh?
Jennifer is asking.
Because
Jennifer
that's called working. Tell them working.
Are you trying to say that? Wait. Are you trying to say that Jennifer doesn't work?
Some of us don't work till 4 o'clock. We work till late.
Hey, who's WBH Radio? I see that. But what's going on?
I don't know. They need help getting a city park ready for our tournament. Is that one of your domino people?
Oh, Will, Holly, what's going on? Yeah, that's no, that's basketball. It's basketball. Okay. You know, I'm a lover of basketball. In case you didn't know that. And so that's, hey Will, how you doing? Will, how was the tournament? How was the tournament? I remember that when put that back up. I remember that when you both of us are clicking it. That's why. When you call at midnight about work. Thank you, Jennifer, because yeah, he didn't appreciate you just now. Thank you, Jennifer. I know you worked hard, Jennifer.
He didn't hear that.
He heard.
John, did you hear your response?
What? No, what was the response?
Jennifer said, she'll remember that when you call her about at midnight about work. You just blew her up like say some of us work.
Mm-hmm. Right? She know what I mean.
No, she doesn't. We Jennifer, I heard the same way you heard. Right? I heard it the same way Jennifer heard it. You know, let's start off with this air pollution.
Yeah, man, this shit is impacting me, man. My lungs feel tight.
I'm wondering if that's because I feel my lungs is like I feel like I'm having a heart attack.
You better go to the doctor. Yeah. You better go straight to the doctor. They mentioned that a lot of people actually, after inhaling that a lot of heart attacks go up. So if you do feel that, please check yourself right into the doctor's office.
I'm gonna call my PCP tomorrow.
Both of you guys.
I see if I could get an emergency visit, man.
Tomorrow, why not tonight?
Because my PCP's not there.
Urgent care is there?
No, I'm not going to urgent care.
ER is there?
I'm not going to ER. Right.
Lord. Jennifer, you have the same thing. My chest hurts. I'm going to my doctor.
Hold on. Ija, why don't you put that on the ear? Don't send me no side notice. Put it on the ear. What you just said. Your smarty pants.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, you know what? While you're saying that, Dr. Bryant just reminded me. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are reaching out to me. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to our village. Our numbers are going up, but it's not going up fast enough. I thank you. They're reaching out, telling me they're watching the program. So I do with all of us, John, Joanne, myself, Sophia, Andre, the whole village family. Thank you so much for your support out there. Do spread the word. Do spread the share. We appreciate you so much. We can't even tell you how much we appreciate you. Yeah, Empress. Thank you for not putting it on the ear.
Yes, we saw the video that you're going to chill out. The dust is high. Okay, because you were stupid enough to go out last night. Okay, there you go.
I honestly, I was indoors. Like I went out, but I was indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Did you have a face mask on?
Yes, I did have a face mask on to go outside, but in the area, I was in the enclosed area, like I'm home now, I don't have the face mask on, but I did wear a face mask to go out yesterday. I had a beautiful, and I want to make sure that I big up my girl, June, right? My girl June. We had a community event, and she helped to put that together, and so I want to make sure I give her great congratulations. Not the right adjective, but a lot of congratulations. I didn't hear you.
No comment.
Oh, yeah.
I said no comment.
No, I heard you. You don't have to comment on everything. You could be like Dr. Martin. So it was. We had about 40 people there. The food was good. Bless up to Island Seas for being a sponsor to that event. Bless up to Leslie on 1300 Palace on Utica Avenue over there for hosting the community board. I mean, the event was very nice, very well attended. Chris, if you're a chain smoker, it's just a regular day. I can't even laugh. My chest is hurting.
What's the opinions on housing?
I'm thinking about putting one. I thought it was 125. I was like, yo, I have an extra room downstairs, man. Somebody was making fun of me when I said I would house a migrant.
So they're accepting migrants in the home. They have approved it, or is that just conversation?
I think they have approved it. It's $125 for your house, and then like the churches get like $250. So you know what my fear is to put a migrant in the house, though, John. My biggest fear about putting a migrant in my house is it going to be like where, you have one Caribbean person, you bring them in your house, and all of a sudden they bring in their families, their rodents, their puss, their dogs, their cats, their all of this. That's my fear. But like bringing a wife and husband that's $250 a day, I'm good with that. As long as they're not bringing in all their kids, all of a sudden I become domicilia for the whole migrant population. But I would like to bring in like a Jamaican group, or somebody that's more than willing, that need help. I don't have a problem with that. Not to mention economic. It has not yet been approved. Okay, it's just been talked about, right? To help out, hey, I could use what's that? That's over $2,000 a month. If you really do the math, right? If it's $125 a day, it's $125 a day, right? 125 times 7 times 30. Let's do 30. I'm doing it wrong. 125 times 7.
125 times 30.
All right, I did it wrong.
$3,000
times 4. $3,500 a month. That pays my mortgage. Right? But I mean, a lot of people, when we talk about it, they're like, oh, well, what about like the crime? I'm like, that's why. And then sometimes I hate to be racist. No, that's not racist. I hate to be sexist. But sometimes, man, women don't move out of your house, man. They don't pay no rent. They don't move out. Women are the worst when it comes to paying rent.
Brother, you are definitely being sexist, man.
They are.
If you look at, there are a lot of one household families where women are the head, and they've been paying rent for them.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as renters, right? As renters.
Right? Women as renters. There are a lot of women who rent. So what are you talking about?
I'm not saying that women don't rent. Of course, women are head of household.
So what are you talking about then?
Huh?
So what are you talking about?
I'm saying that
you sound stupid. That's all I'm gonna say. You sound real dumb. right about now.
Be offended because you're a woman.
I am a woman. And the thing is, what you're saying is,
I have a lot of female friends who say the following, right? Look right there. Go ahead, Taj. Go ahead, Jennifer. Say it again. I will not comment. Thank you.
Because of the stupidity coming out your mouth.
The stupidity because she agrees.
Oh Lord. Oh my
God.
God.
Don't agree, bro.
You know what? You're just being.
Let me just tell you. I'm not saying. I'm not telling you. I'm telling you that I'm just saying what other female landlords have told me. They don't like to rent to female renters. Right? They do not. I'm telling you now. They would rather rent to a male. Like if they have a room, they want to rent. I'm telling you what they tell me.
He said, no, I do meant to say not agree.
Right.
Look, not agree. So you understand?
Right.
Not agree. You're offending a lot of females.
No. Again, don't get me wrong.
Well, you know what? Just keep your mouth shut. Just keep your mouth shut.
Like,
really? When you quote ignorance, you are just like spewing ignorance left and right.
It's not.
Sexism and ignorance. Again. All right.
No, you guys like to. Thank
you, Jennifer. No. We hold everything down, and thank you, John, for saying that.
Again, you guys take my comments as usual.
When it comes out your mouth, it makes no sense.
I'm telling you that I have spoken to female landlords.
Please stop.
So, Dr. Brian, let Roderick finish so he can explain himself.
Thank you. I have enough female landlords as friends.
What's up, Big Taj?
When they ask me to say, hey, I have something to rent, and I say I have a female who's interested, they tell me I don't want a female. Female landlords tell me that. Why? And so I am making a statement. I didn't say that women don't pay rent and men pay rent. That's not what I said. I said that female landlords do not want to rent to other females because they run into the issue of not paying rent. I'm telling you what they tell me. So you can look at that and make that statement. You as a female is being, I guess, what was that? Reverse sexist against other females.
Right. I like that. Reverse sexist.
Right. Yeah, and that see, just like what Jennifer said, is Jennifer being sexist based upon her experience?
Because of what you're saying, she's saying that to you,
and she would think twice about renting to a single male. I'm telling you what the experiences are. Why don't you ask the people on the out there and get a poll?
Hello, people have been commenting. Have you not seen? Be careful
Taj
what you say. Let him talk about dominoes. It sounds expensive. I have to pay my bills in an apartment. And
Taj
a woman.
Is a wait. Taj is a renter. So is Monet. I said female landlords wanted to rent to other females. I said females tell me that. Females. Not males. Females tells me that. So that's where the conversation come in. So maybe we should do a poll. Right? And I think that does happen. I think our community always mix up personal experience and general experience without facts. And so it's okay, he says something against a female. Oh, I gotta jump on it because he's talking about a female. Data, if I'm saying to you, I'm talking to these landlords who are female, you can't tell me what their experience are. It's not valid. If you're a renter, that's not your experience. You're not a landlord. If you are a landlord, then you can say yay or nay. Just like Jennifer said, I will think twice about renting to a single male. That's a different conversation, right? We know that most, unfortunately, especially within the Black community, a lot of females are the head of those communities. We know that. Whether it's because of the courts, whether it's because of degenerate men or over impressive women, whatever the reasons are. right? Women are generally the heads of households, especially within our Black community. Thank you, Jennifer. I see you. I hear you. Right? We know that. So, again, do a poll. Who would you rather rent to? Right? Put it out.
I'd rather rent to someone who got a job that can pay my rent.
Actually, that's no. You know what, John? That's actually not even true either. That's actually not even true. Right? That's not true because they have a job. You don't know what their bills are, what their spending habits are like. Right? That's another issue. You got to know all of that stuff. Because sometimes people. Yes, we will. We are moving on, Jennifer. But, we are moving on. But I just want to make sure that when you make a statement that it's clear. And so I know that sometimes, like the other thing said, like we normally jump on it on a personal level and look at what the data is saying and get upset until we look at the data and say the data says this versus how I personally feel for my own.
What data did you provide? None.
I did. I said to you, I've spoken to a significant number of my friends who are female landlords. That's what I told you. And maybe we should do a survey. I did say that. That's exactly what I said. And then John said, I'd rather somebody who's working than just now. And I said, that's not always true either. That's not always true. Right? How many people you know? I just had a conversation a couple of days ago with somebody who said somebody owed them rent for 4 years, not paying rent, and they work. And they got, what is that? It's not PPE money, but what's their COVID number? They had to help them out during tough times.
ERAP
money to help pay the rent, and they still didn't pay the damn rent.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people who jumped on the bandwagon in regards to that and they're coming after them. So if you were working and you're asking for help, they're gonna track your behind down. So please.
A lot of them didn't pay taxes.
And a lot of people, So
yeah. Jennifer, I mean, we're not going to belabor the subject. There are very good tenants out there, period. We're just talking about people who have expressed bad experiences.
Okay. Hi, Daniel. Thank you for joining us this evening.
I was actually a very good tenant until I became an owner.
So a lot of things are happening besides your comment about female.
You get like, I love when you don't approach data. You approach personal.
No, give me numbers. Give me numbers.
I just
talking about data. I don't know a significant amount of friends. What? 2? Please give me a break. Give me numbers. Give me facts and numbers, please.
8. Is 8 a good enough number?
No, not at all, Roger. When you make a comment like that.
I know, not even close.
But the ERAP, put up the ERAP comment from Jennifer, Andre. No, go down with the ERAP. But the ERAP should have gone. Yeah, but I a few people have complained to me. Maybe there's something that they were missing, Jennifer. But I've had about 5 landlords complain to me about tenants not paying their rent. So maybe there's something that an online specific thing that you know about. But I have about 5 who have complained to me about tenants not paying their rent.
Let me ask you, Chris mentioned something about it being a racial undertone.
With what racial undertone?
In regards to the migrant, it was all the way up. I can't even find it now. Paying the migrants. Well, first of all, I'm glad that the court sided with the fact that certain counties cannot discriminate against migrants.
Oh, let me just say this. The best tenant is yourself. ERAP is a trap. Somebody just texted me that. I mean, I don't know much about ERAP. I didn't use it, but I just wanted to make a comment about the ERAP program. So somebody who's listening who didn't comment online. Why is it racial? What do you mean, Buck?
I don't know. Chris mentioned that.
No, his name is Buck. Also, I just call him Buck. So what do you mean, Buck? What do you mean by I don't know that it's racial. I think migrants come from all over. Are you saying that only certain migrants can live in certain neighborhoods? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. So just explain that a little bit further. Taj wrote with ERAP, your landlord cannot put you out, and maybe that's the issue. I don't know if let me just put Taj. I don't think that's what the issue was. I think the people who have spoken to me isn't about the ERAP paying the money, or that it's that like one person specifically. And by the way, this is a male, right? The male tenant, a male tenant, said even with that, the court just that's the problem with New York City laws. The laws in New York sucks for landlords.
They do,
right?
150%. They're horrible.
And so this person who complained to me has been living in the person's house since 2019 without paying rent. And COVID exasperated the issue.
Yes.
Right. But they were not paying rent prior, and you can't get them out. So at minimum, and trust me as a landlord, we have had tenants who walked away with thousands of dollars and not paying rent.
Now, what do you think is going to happen with the people who they're paying for the migrants to come and stay with you, but after a certain amount of time,
that becomes their domicilia? That's my fear. That's one of the reasons
with them, because the law, if you're in somebody's house for a certain amount of time, guess what? You have to deal with them.
Yeah, it's your house. I mean, not your house, your place of residence. Pulling resources from Black communities and them placed only in Black communities. What do you mean? You're pulling resources from Black communities and then being placed only. So what resources are you pulling from the Black communities, Chris? I was a victim of ERAP you're talking about, or as a landlord, Monet?
That is the question. So if you do decide to go with that, and if you take on a certain amount of migrants, you can only take on 19, because once you take on 20, you have to identify that, indicate that on tax papers and laws.
Say that again.
There's a tax component that is attached to 20 migrants that they pay you. You will be responsible for paying the tax difference.
It's income. What do you expect? It's income.
Mm-hmm.
It's income.
Right. It is income, and you do have to have that. And that but Monet, I love Florida. You see, there are times I'm a Democrat, and I say that all the time. But sometimes I want to be a Republican, because in red states, these things don't happen. This is ridiculous. You have somebody live in your house for 3 months for free. You don't have to pay mortgage. You don't get a reprieve, right? You don't get a reprieve. You don't get a reprieve on your mortgage, right? They don't decide. The court don't say, hey, hey, Mr. Daly, hey, Dr. Sampson, hey, Dr. Bryant, right? You're not going to go into foreclosure. We're going to give you a reprieve. You can live there for the next 10 years for free. They say pay your mortgage. You know what? I had one tenant that told me. I had a tenant that told me this, and I felt like punching the tenant in the face. The tenant said to me, "Why are you waiting to collect my rent to pay your mortgage?" Straight up. Right? And I'm like, right? And I'm like, nah. Hey, King Son, I'm not an undercover. I have always voted Democratic. However, there are certain Republican ideals that I'm like, as a landlord, think about it. As a landlord, think about it.
Right? Yeah, you're getting on people's nerve and raising their blood pressure because of your mouth.
No, think about it, Jennifer. You're a landlord. Your tenant not paying your rent. You're stuck with your mortgage. What do? Don't you still have to pay your mortgage?
Damn right.
Do you get a reprieve?
No, you don't.
No, you don't. So, you tell me. Maybe you know something I don't know.
Good evening.
Hey, King. Right? Maybe you know something I don't know. Well, what I know is that I have to pay my mortgage every month.
I think the whole problem is there's the court's lack of consideration for the landlords. They really box the small landlords and with the bigger landlords and think they can absorb these deficits that exist, but it's not true. So I think if the court was a little bit more sufficient in getting rid of these cases, and HRA was a little bit more efficient in providing the resources that the tenants need, the monies and things like that, things would move a lot faster. Also HPD, instead of coming and writing violations all the time, actually just come in and see if there's an actual violation that exists, not something very simple that can hold everything up. So I think it's the whole process. It's not that we, I can always say I believe in democratic values, but I do have conservative values when it comes to finances and the way things are done. And reliance on government is there to support you in difficult times and to create opportunities when other opportunities don't exist. But at the same time, once these opportunities do exist, we need to pay it forward. We need to go back and reach and bring somebody forward. This is something that we don't do as a people. We don't, we want gratification for ourselves instead of sharing the gratification for the whole to pull somebody else up. It's just giving somebody else another opportunity to move forward. But that whole the landlord tenant system, it's the whole point. The tenants against the landlords, both parties need to coexist. The problem is that we can't give an excuse to the mortgage company. We can't give an excuse to the city why we didn't pay taxes or why we didn't pay our mortgage. But the tenants can always say, they can come up with 50 million excuses and not pay you your rent. And of course, for a tenant to tell you, why are you waiting on my rent to pay a mortgage? That's the mindset of somebody who doesn't have responsibility. A lot of these tenants who then become landlords, then they realize what we're talking about.
It's interesting, right? The American dream is 2 children, a house with a picket fence. But when you achieve that American dream, then they didn't say to you, how do you keep it? How do you keep the American dream alive? Right? You're working. Sometimes, honestly, you want to be able to pay off. You can't believe in generational wealth if you can't take care of the home that you want to pass on to the next generation, because you're going to go into flow. Sometimes, sometimes you do your life savings, right? And let's say you go into your TDA, I call it TDA because I'm in education, but whatever your 401k is, and one of the things you can use your 401k money for is to buy a home, right? You can take it off and take it out without penalties to buy a home. And right? So Benave Brutus wrote, it's called The American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. That's kind of funny. But the reality is, going back, is that we can't accomplish anything and sustain it. So you go in and you go into your 401k and you buy this house. But now you have to be able to maintain it. So you say, I'm going to buy a 2-family because I have 3 or 4 kids. I want to maintain it for the next few years until my kids are old, maybe they move upstairs, maybe they move downstairs, whatever the case is. So you're looking for that additional support. The property taxes are going up, right? Because nobody can afford to live anywhere in New York City anymore. You buy a house 10 years ago, the price doubles. That means the property tax went up double, and your salary didn't double. So you're looking at additional resources to help. I'm gonna help you, John. So whether you charge $1,200 for rent or $2,000 for rent is the same outcome. And the government the government is not saying, hey, you do have a responsibility to the landlord that you need to pay your rent. And that unfortunately it happens. And unfortunately, and a lot of times it happens to a lot of people within our own communities that are affected by these negative landlords. I mean, not landlord. And that's different from being a slumlord, right? We also want to address slumlords too, right? So I don't want to just knock on tenants and not knock on the landlords who are not getting things done either in the house. And they shouldn't be getting a damn rent if you're not fixing up the place, right? So it goes both ways. Right. 10 people in one house all chip in. But if they're not chipping in, it don't make a difference. It does make a difference. That's why I love certain.
Oh, yo, man. But all right, getting off the topic of just moving on to something different, I guess I don't know if y'all guys discussed that whole stand your ground incident in Florida with the black woman that was shot and killed by a white woman. Did anybody know? Any of our listeners heard about that?
No. When was that?
It's such a sad thing.
California. Hey, Doc, Florida. You know about it, Doc?
Yeah, it's in Florida.
All right, so tell us what transpired, Doc.
The sad thing is, this neighbor of this young lady was actually upset about the fact that the kids were making noise outside in their play yard. And
But there's a history. But there's been a history for the last 2 years with this going on between those two.
Yeah, but you know what? Kids are kids. They're gonna make noise.
But for 2 years, but it's kids will be kids. I get Doc. You finish it, and then we'll go into it. I'm sorry.
No. Kids are kids. They're going to make noise, and it's okay. So the lady, a woman accused, a white woman shot a young black lady who was mother of children that were playing outside. Her name is Susan Lewis Lorenzi. She's 58, who is white, was charged with manslaughter of a firearm. So the lady she killed is Ajuk Owens, a black mother of 4. So the feud between the two neighbors is the children are often playing a lot outside her home. So she called the children vile names, racial slur, and everything, and antagonized them. But it got to the point that day that she started throwing skates. She threw metal skates at the children. Not only did she curse at the children, but she threw metal skates. Now that's a no-no. Kids went and let their mom know. So the mom went to go and approach the lady, knock on her door, and with her child, she had a young child with her. So as she was knocking on the door, the white lady actually shot through the door and said that she was afraid. And that's why she shot through the door with a shotgun and killed her. So at first, the sheriff did not want to arrest the 58-year-old lady because she claims it was stand your grounds law. He couldn't make an arrest unless he could prove the shooter did not act in self-defense. The lady who died, 35 years old, they tried to bring her back to life, but here it is. She got murdered in front of her child. So leaving behind 4 kids. So this week they did arrest her because they looked at the videos and those videos on the street and home videos and noticed that, hey, there was no standing your ground. She was the one who started this. She's the one who threw the metal skates at the kids, the racial slurs and everything. So they arrested her, which I'm excited about that because everyone used stand in your ground, stay in your ground, all that, and threat as a way to justify killing folks. But I'm glad that unfortunately it took a couple of days, but they did arrest her.
So one of the things just added to that, the sheriff.
Well, if I could just interject,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Doc, the sheriff did the right thing because the sheriff investigated instead of just jumping in and arresting the woman like that and creating possibly some issues that could avoid the arrest. And this is what more officers need to do when there are incidents that transpire. Do your investigation, because the sheriff said the woman was claiming stand your ground, but in order for him to proceed to arrest, he had to do his homework. So I give kudos to the sheriff because he did his homework. He did the investigation to make sure that he can bring charges against this woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people would have, rush to, arrest the woman immediately, without, and then at that point in time, it's not over. You still have to gain all the facts. But the sheriff did the right thing, and the woman was subsequently arrested. And the woman, everybody says the woman went to knock on the door. The woman didn't go casually knock on this woman's door.
Would you go?
So we don't want nobody to believe that, because somebody throws something at your child, you ain't going to knock on the door like knock, knock. This is such and such. It was hostility all the way. And remember, this was they've been going at it for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, since 2021.
So this is something that was brewing. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because it should have been dealt with a long time ago.
Just to add my 2 cents to it, it's one, the sheriff labeled it as a simple killing. You can't be in a if your door is locked, ladies and gentlemen, and you could hold your shotgun, and if they break the door down, and
it was a handgun. It wasn't a shotgun. It was a handgun.
Handgun. You could hold your gun, and if somebody bangs on your door and they break the door open, or they throw bricks through your window, and you tell them to stop, that's stand your ground.
Dude, well, you have to retreat. You have to retreat, Roger. But she was in her home.
That's what I'm saying.
However, but if the person fears that somebody is coming through their door to do them bodily harm, at that point in time, okay, you're in your home. Do I have to retreat further and allow the person entrance, or do I prevent them from entering my home? So that's
my point, John. If my door is locked and you're banging on my door, my first retort is not to shoot through my door.
No, correct.
That's what I'm saying. So you have the police to call. You could
have called 911. Yes, you could have done a lot of things.
Your options are limitless, right? The one thing that I have a problem with, right? I know it's not going to come out how I want it to come out, but the one thing I have a problem with is the immediate call for Ben Crump. That to me, right away, is monetary. And I guess if you say monetary is a form of justice, then okay.
I doubt that. I don't think it was monetary in this situation.
No, but
I thought the call to Ben Crump was to bring attention to what they thought was going to be an injustice about to occur.
My experience with Ben Crump in all of the cases is civil rights and monetary. All. Is that important? Yes.
But yes. Roger, wait, who are they gonna sue? Who are they gonna sue? The woman that lives in the same development that this woman lives in? Come on. Are you gonna sue the development? What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna sue?
What? Honestly, John, I don't know the law. You might know it better than I can. But if there's 6 to 8 calls of civil disobedience, not civil disobedience, but domestic violence, right? I think they might want to sue the city. They did not provide proper. I don't know, because remember when you're doing a litigation, you sue the person, you sue the municipality, you sue the state, you sue you sue the country. Because remember, you can sue anybody you want.
But man, let me tell you something, Roger. I'm going to be very frank too. Sometimes we need to control our children. I look at even my own neighborhood. the ways the parents will allow some of these kids to run up and down the block, damage your property, allow their dogs to defecate in your driveway in your front without cleaning it up, having the kids play, throw stuff. I mean, and you can't say anything to the parent like mind your child because it becomes a whole big issue.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's simple. It's simple neighborly courtesy. You know, there's a lot of parents that just don't mind their children.
You know, and you know, remember the aim of the show, it is the village, right? And it takes a village, but now you can't do a village. I shared the story, John.
What's your point, Dr. Bryant? What are your thoughts, Dr. Bryant, on that?
I have a friend who called me a mama bear all the time. So I would be upset if somebody threw something at my kids. I would be one of those parents that say, hey, you know what? No, it's not going to go down like that. I do have a problem with parents who get offended every time your village try to support you in raising your children. That is a problem, because the thing is, if they could do no wrong, then guess what? They could do no wrong. Then don't come back later on when they do wrong to say, hey, you should have chipped in. No, allow people to jump in and support you in raising your children, because it takes a village. And yes, you are right. Our village is failing. And that's why we try to do things and educate people and bring activities and support in that way, to say that in order to move forward as a community, we need to go back to that village concept. Now, yeah, because that independence and saying that, hey, we don't need no one, no, we do. And a great example was, it took a pandemic for people to see that you cannot live in isolation. You need each other.
You know,
amen, Doc. Say that, Dr. Brian. Say that again, Dr. Brian. Say that again.
Need others in order to grow, in order to move, in order to move the community in a way that, you know, we're going in the right direction. If you let everybody do what they want, then we do have the Wild Wild West. It is a problem. My concept, my foundation, my background, together with your background, together with the elderly's background, because they went through. We cannot go backwards because we're not educating. We're too afraid. No, intervene, because guess what? They don't know. Young people don't know. And people need to take time out to talk to them. Let them know, hey, in your ignorance, you're going to go backwards and you're going to pay later on. So let me help you move forward. It took our village to help us get to where we're at. And it's going to take a new set of village that looks a little different to help our community, our children move forward, because the laws, the system, the things that's in place is to destroy our young folks, not to keep building, but to destroy what it is that we have in place.
You know,
amen.
I want to add something. I just want to add something. It takes a village until it's my child.
True.
So my village is to help you with your child. But when you come to talk about my child, I don't want the village. I don't want you talking to my child. And so, right. And so that's where some of this problem comes in.
True.
Right. True. Because people need to start understanding the same expectation I have of you, I should have of myself. And we are blamers. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's never mine. Right. Johnny, Jane, you need to stay off Dr. Bryant's lawn. If you go outside on Dr. Bryant's lawn and Dr. Bryant comes to me and tell me that you're on the lawn, I'm going to scold you in front of Dr. Bryant, because you have a certain sense of responsibility to Dr. Bryant and the community. Oh, but you don't need to say anything to my kid. But I will say something to your kid, though. And so that's, to me, you can't look at it in a way that's not relevant to the community at large. And
so
again, we're opining from this side, right? Because we're not in Ocala, Florida, where this incident happened. but I've seen similar incidents like these happen within our own communities.
Mm-hmm.
And to make that slight judgment. I understand Kareem, going back to something I said earlier, Kareem wrote that it's a lack of strength. No, about this, the minister. But I'm saying again, and Wenda was saying that she agrees with me about the financial, it's like for a lot of these families, it's like, unfortunately, I just won the lottery. And you won the lottery at the cost of life for the 35-year-old Miss Owens.
You can't replace a parent. Like the young lady who died from Wild Out, who died last week from plastic surgery. That's another, there's so many things that's happening that could be prevented that unfortunately is leaving a lot of children motherless or parentless, arguments that take place on the street that instead of just having a simple conversation, it turned into a death match. Or, I'm gonna shoot you up because I don't like the tone or I don't like the way you address things. That's the sad thing about this community right now, where we're living. We are afraid to approach others because you don't know what the repercussion is. So we have to go back to a place where trust is developed, where community members are involved, where churches are involved, so that we can move forward. It can't just be one side approach. And you are right. People are afraid because you know what? It's looking at, okay, maybe I didn't do a good job as a parent. No one wants to say, hey, I didn't do a good job. I did all I could. So some pressures also equate to why parents are like guarded about people saying anything.
It's funny. I said something to my wife about a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I told her that every parent believes that they're a great parent.
Mm-hmm.
It's very I don't know what BBL is.
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, you knew that right away. Every parent might say that they need help with their children,
mm-hmm.
but every parent believes that they're a great parent.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you try to say, and what I told my wife is, right, is that we in education we use best practice. What are you doing with your children? What am I doing with my children? What is John, Jane, Susan, Timothy, what are they doing with their children? We can all say, hey.
Thank you, Monet, for saying that. What is a great parent?
I don't know the context in which Monet is asking that question, so I'm not going to say thank you immediately because I don't know what the context is.
No, it's a great conversation. What is a great parent?
But
what is a great parent, Roderick?
I don't know what a great parent is.
Because right? Your wife thinks. Mm-hmm.
No, but I said that every parent thinks they're the best parent in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even if the parent is a drug addict and a serial murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're teaching their kid how to be a murderer. You know what they say? I need to teach my kid how to protect themselves.
Right.
Right? Like, you say, learn to walk away. I say, walk away from what? So you teach your kid to walk away. I teach my kid
walk away from love, baby.
Right?
But look. Jennifer mentioned something important. There was a young man. It was this week. The graduation, the stepfather and the child.
Oh man, that was crazy.
At graduation.
At graduation, killed the son and the father.
Yeah. So here it is. Ignorance.
Yeah, I didn't get the full story. I did see that come up on the
victim and the shooter seem to have issues. And obviously, this fool waits until graduation day to do this. This kid deserves the freaking electric chair.
So wait, what did the kid do?
He shot and killed the guy and killed his father too.
Yeah,
he killed the stepfather. Wait. So I don't know, what guy did he kill?
He killed the graduate who he had beef with. And in the process of the shooting, the guy's father died also.
Graduating. The kid that was graduating killed his classmate and the classmate.
No. This is what happened. A graduate was killed by one of his classmates that he had a beef with.
Right.
A long beef
at
with.
Graduation.
He waited till graduation to settle the beef. And in the process of him settling the beef, he also killed the graduate's father. The graduate was 18, his father was 36.
And other people got hurt and injured in Richmond.
Yes, other people got injured. Yep, Richmond, Virginia.
It was Richmond, Virginia that I did see, but I didn't follow up and read the whole story.
I don't know why nobody didn't kill his ass.
You know, John, in 1998 at South Shore High School, when I was there, prom happened. We went to the prom with the kid. The kid waited till the last day of school. Right outside of the McDonald's right there in Flatlands Avenue, right by across the street from South Shore High School.
Right.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right, John?
Yep.
He shot the kid. He shot the kid in the stomach. You know why he shot him?
Why?
Because his girlfriend was communal property. That's why he shot him. Because this guy was talking to who?
That's a nice word. That's a nice word
right?
For something else. I like that, communal property. Yeah. Okay.
Right. But that's what she was. Because you're gonna shoot a kid at somebody else who you said about you because he's dating your girlfriend. How can somebody else be dating your girlfriend?
When she's community property, right?
Yeah. And he shot him because at that point he couldn't be suspended. You know how many kids kill each other because they think they can no longer be suspended from school?
Hey, let me tell you something. In the work that I do, in the work that I have done since I've been home, it's very interesting how a lot of these kids who have committed crimes back when we were young, who did 25, 30 years, and they're getting out now. And a lot of them say, man, you know, if they had to do it all over again, it wasn't worth it, man. You know, but we don't see the forest beyond the trees. We have an existentialist attitude, which is to live for today. We don't think about tomorrow because, like, tomorrow is not promised to us. And in our communities, we don't even know if we have a life expectancy past a certain number of age, especially when we're young people. So young people don't care. But once they are put into prison for long periods of time and they have time to really reflect and think, it's at that point in time the realization comes to them, but it's too late in some instances. It's just too late, meaning that if you get 25 to life, you may get it. But some instances, kids get 50 years, 60 years, and they'll never see the light of day. It's like those 3 idiots who shot and killed the store owner's father, who just came from the Middle East to see his daughter-in-law give birth. You know, these young kids, 19, 20, 22 years old. I mean, what is it that they have no total disregard for life?
First. What do you mean by it took the kid that shot him, Monet, took his degree first, or he took away the kid's degree that he killed, the victim's degree? My thing is, one of the biggest things that people don't understand, and I tell people this all the time, experience is the greatest teacher.
Amen.
And what these young people don't believe is that when you talk to somebody who's an ex-con who comes out and say, yo, you don't want to be there.
That's important.
Right? They look at him like, I could do my bid. And then they come out and they begin the conversation about you don't want to go in there. And the cycle continues, right? The cycle continues.
And on that note, Roderick, we have our special guest. She's here. You want to bring her in?
We didn't want to bring her in yet, but we didn't do a couple of commercials yet, but okay.
It is all right.
I'm sure she has a lot to talk about. I love having her on.
And as she is on, I have to leave because I have an engagement. But it's good seeing you, Councilwoman. You have a great conversation with our crew, and hopefully I can be back. But I have to have an engagement I have to run through right now.
Okay, so I hope I see you soon.
Yes.
I'm gonna say he's trying to avoid you. He's avoiding you.
No, that's my brother. Don't start. That's my bro.
Right, always trying to start some trouble. Always trying to start.
That's my bro. That's my bro.
We're so happy to have you on. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I've been listening. Yes, you're on topic, and we have to get solution for our young folks, and we have to show them, expose them. We have to mentor them, because when you grow up in a certain environment, you don't know any better. You don't know life consequences, like what's the consequence? What if I do that? What's going to happen to my life? And some of them, they don't have a life, really. They don't care about life. They just kind of like, I don't care, like, because they don't see a future in front of them.
That
they're already tired from the beginning. I have seen a lot throughout my years when I was doing reentry program. I can tell you, some of the young folks, when they talk to you, you break your heart, because if I remember, some of the stories are so sad, like they don't have no reason to live for. I have a young man, I would never forget him. It was kind of a smoke. We were smelling smoke on the floor. Never forget that. And I asked him, "Oh, don't you smell this?" When he came to my room, he said, "No, I cannot smell." And at first I thought the young man was joking. He just came out of jail. And I was talking to him. I said, "What do you mean you cannot smell?" He said, "Since I was 5 years old, I cannot smell." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, my grandmother was on crack. My mom was on crack. My dad was on crack. I never met my dad. And my mom once, she was very high, and she took me, I was 5 years old, put me in a tub full of Clorox. And ever since, I can never smell, because by the time they took me to the hospital, she was killing me, and she was trying to kill me. And by the time they took me to the hospital, I lost my sense of smell. After he told me that, I stood there. I didn't know what to say. So I had to take a time out for my own personal way to see how the best way I can actually continue a good conversation with him. And then by the time I finished the assessment, the intake, and I said, so what do you want? And he did about 15 years, because he was trying to survive on the street. He was trying to feed himself. Of course, he got caught because he was selling drugs on the street. So a young man like this, what do you tell them? 5 years old. The mother was on crack, grandmother's on crack, father was on crack, went to jail. So he was just trying to survive. And then he ended up stealing and doing things, selling things to survive. And now, I mean, by the time I met him, he wanted a better life. And I commend him, because most people would give up. But he came out, he wants to better his life. And he was in the path. I connect him with a lot of resources and stuff, people to get him to do the OSHA and different things. So for him to get in construction, because back then with the record, it was very difficult to even get a job, to even get in a place where they're going to give you an interview. To say the least, there's a lot of different dynamics going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I prevent myself from being judgmental until I know the story.
Yeah. Thank you, because I know that you're out there with a lot of young folks.
Yeah.
All the time doing things in the community. Day by day, you can see some of your posts from churches to schools to community centers to different things. What have you been up to this week? Because I know your week is packed. So share with our listeners, what have you been up to?
Whoa, wow. My week has been very busy from passing legislation. As a matter of fact, today it's a process. I don't know if you know the first one that I'm excited about. There's many legislation, but 273B, which is about to train the NYPD's officers, all of them, not some of them, all of them from the beginning, had to deal with autism spectrum disorder, young folks, old folks, all folks. That was a big achievement because, to even tackle NYPD for anything to do it is a big deal. Because at first everybody told me that it's impossible passing that. And it's about educating people around us that's serving us. Do I believe that all NYPD, all police officers, if they get this training, they're gonna be like perfect? No, but once you provide the education that give more folks that want to do the right thing, the ammunition to do the right thing, not killing folks unnecessary. So that's a big deal. And today we do a transparency introduction, which passed as a chair of hospitals. That was to my committee. So it was my responsibility to make sure that the people that we're trying to help, we don't put them down and say safety net hospitals. Some of the requirement, the transparency, some of them, I was really in a deep collaboration with Greater New York, and as well as a lot of hospital CEOs to make sure that whatever the decision, myself personally, that I take in on the city level, that is benefit the greater amount of folks in our community, and it's for the greater good. So that's that. So today it passed. Okay. And I was able to push through 996, which is about the blood pressure machine, the sphygmomanometers, to give access to everywhere in our communities. Because what we I don't know if you realize that too, probably you do. Most of our folks, especially Black and Latinos, are the highest in hypertension, and we call it a silent killer.
Yes.
It leads to all kind of diseases, all cardiovascular diseases you can imagine, stroke and everything. So if I can get everyone to be mindful of their blood pressure and get education around it, how to monitor, how to help yourself, even though some folks will tell you, but they will not follow through. But having the access, the educational pamphlet around everywhere that we can make sure is at disposable of folks.
What are some signs that people, because a lot of people might not even know that they have high blood pressure. What are some signs, some key signs?
That's what I just said before, silent killer. Sometimes you don't have no sign. Sometimes it can be the headache. It can be some dizziness. It can be some folks find it by the time that they have a swelling on the feet or so. And then if you have family history, that's a sign for you to say, okay, this is something that's a risk factor I need to address. But many folks don't, because that's what we call it, the silent killer, because you can have high blood pressure to the top and you don't know it. You're moving, you're doing everything.
And it doesn't discriminate on the age, correct?
No age. Some feel think that you, it's just like when you get older. Yes, it's more common, like for older folks, because of all the stress and everything else that contributing to make it higher. But having said that, no, it can't.
What about weight? Do weight play a
factor too? Obesity. Oh yeah, obesity is a contributing factor. So, but you can have a skinny person that have a high blood pressure. They kind of skinny people that have high blood pressure. So that's why we encourage everyone to monitor. The best way is to monitor your blood pressure, to check it when you get. That's why whenever you go to the doctor, you realize that that's the first thing that they do, right?
They pump, squeeze.
Yes, which is a good thing.
So I'll tell you this: my two colleagues that were completely, Mr. Daly and also Mr. Sampson, they were complaining about chest pains in regards to the air quality that took place. He said he feels his chest tightening. He's going to wait until tomorrow to go and reach out to his PCP. So can you please advise Mr. Daly and also Mr. Sampson, who mentioned that they're going to wait the next day to seek care. And I think one of our other listeners, actually Jennifer, mentioned that and I know that quality that we had the air, especially since Roderick was out hanging out last night and having a good old time in the smug and everything. So please,
outside, knowing how we're not going to talk about your health, but knowing what I know, we know each other, watching each other. How could you?
I was not outside.
He was outside.
I was not outside.
He left his house. If you leave your house, that means
I left my house, but I was not outside. And I wore a mask to the car, and I wore a mask from the car to the building.
Now you know my struggle, right? When you're talking about health is wealth. That's like we said, right? And let me tell you something. Even as a chair for a hospitals committee in the council and being part of health committee as well, I'm going to tell you, people don't like to talk about health because once they can walk and talk and do their business, they think like they put it on the side. They think that they nothing going to happen to me. I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm alive. But the minute that they get sick to be in the bed, that's the time they want to address it. So, Roderick, from having that show, you should not be doing that at all. You should be advising folks. You should be the doctor, having all the doctorate degree, all the PhD in medical, in healthcare. So I should be closing my eyes. I don't even have to talk because you're a knowledgeable man. But you just, that's the thing about it. People know what they're supposed to do. But like I said, if they can walk, they can talk, they can do their business, they're feeling good, they forget about health care, preventive care. That's why I'm pushing for preventive care so much. I don't know what to say to people anymore. Young, old, preventive care. Once you prevent, you're not going to be getting sick. You're not going to be in the hospital as much. Sometimes you cannot prevent it. You cannot stop it. But preventive care can take you a long way. Live longer and healthier.
So I'm going to tell you nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Right. I already said whatever that I needed to say, but I am monitoring
the chest pain and the chest tightening. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
They said, if I'm not lying, that whenever is the air like this and you have any underlying, and especially when you come to respiratory, you're supposed to be staying home. And today they said all the nurses, everyone in the council, by the way, in the city council and the mayor's side, if you have any underlying, you should be remote. Those that are free, that never have any problem, then you can come in. I think it was not only for the city council, if I'm talking, because it was everywhere. So
schools and
the schools.
I'm home. I'm gonna
say he's home today, but the worst day he was out and about.
When it got better, he is home. You know what? The thing about it, like I said,
by the way, I was home all day yesterday. I didn't go. I think my sir over there is over exaggerating a little bit.
Really? I will show you proof that he was out and about yesterday. Videotaping. He documented himself being out and about.
But the videotaping showed that I was indoors.
Okay.
So
but you kind of like do the Jetson. You flew from one place to the next.
Like I said, I did go outside to the car, and I did go from the car to the building.
All right.
I did say that, and I came back outside from the building to the car, and then into my house. So all of that is correct.
Okay.
All right. But I think it's also other issues as well. I don't think it's just the ear. You know.
We are invisible.
So I'm gonna do a Dr. Bryant and say, let's move on to the next subject.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
Right? With the chest pain, right?
No, I'm gonna do that's what Dr. Bryant does. When she don't want to talk about something, she's like, let's move on.
So we have a topic up there. There's one of our listeners who wrote, when are we going to have a community center in Canarsie for the youth? There's nothing for them to do.
All right. So right now we have a community center by Shore Parkway. We have a community center in Bergen Beach area. We have two, as a matter of fact. We have one, Valon. Oh, the other one is not really community center for youth, is more like seniors, but there is two so far that is very popular that we're using a lot for our youth. Until that I can, because it's a process, but until we have build another one, because I'm still looking for a good site. We have two in the two extreme, but I have a lot of activities planning for the parks. I have a lot of activities throughout the district in the school building. So in the meanwhile, take advantage. I will tell the caller or the texter to take advantage. If you need anything, if you want to know where you can have activity for the youth, just holler at me. I try my very best to send a lot of email out, a lot of text out. I promote it throughout the district. So if you're not so sure, call my office, 718-241-9330. I want to keep our youth occupied, and I want to get them all the programs you can imagine. And so far, I can tell you, I have been very successful with the school building. In the school alone, for last year, I was able to allocate $240 million. I like to make zeros. Maybe that's what I wanted to put. 24 million. Let's be exact. But there's a lot of things coming. In our parks, I'm taking a very close look at our parks. All our parks will have all the access that you need for our children, that we need for our children. So in Canarsie Park, I'm in the making. Just God help me, because we're gonna have a soccer field, which they cost a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you should get it very soon. By next year, I should have it in the making. We're having a soccer field. We're gonna have all the basketball court done, and the following phase gonna be the tennis court and the skate ring. Right now, the skate ring that we have in Valone Park, which is on Bergen Beach, we have the skate rings, and we have the baseball field ready to go. And right now, I'm forcing every organization that provides services to make sure they reach out to all the schools throughout my district. So it's not going to be one group of folks taking advantage of the great programs, everyone, because I want every family members to have a place where they can get the kids to be active and have great programs going on.
So I want to go back. One of our listeners just chime in about. I want to go back, and then I'm going to come back to the locations of the tennis courts.
Oh no, Canarsie! we have over on the other side of it.
There are a couple of things I want to talk about, but let's go back to the community center component first that Empress Danielle brought up. One of the things that you have allocated a lot of money to the schools, and to build a community. I have one now that I'm going to be building in not I personally, but that we're going to be responsible for building in our district where I live, right? Where I represent, right? And you represent that as a district leader.
But district leader, let's go right there. There's no money access, nothing.
No. I also just realized that you are not the district leader for that. I know there's no money at the district leader level. I know that. But I'm talking about.
Where are you?
I'm coming to 117. You forget? But
no, where are you in terms of living? Because if Monique Chandler Weatherman represents you, I'm the district leader.
No. I'm talking about the Shirley Chisholm Center, which is going to be over there in Rodney's district.
Okay.
All right. So I know. I mean, my community board encompasses her district as well as yours.
Okay.
Right. But anyway, I want to go back to something that the caller brought up, and then I'm going to get to the tennis court because they're. I know the caller personally, and she's an avid tennis player, and then we're going to go back to that and the access. You allocated money to the schools. Is it feasible for you to say, like South Shore High School and Canarsie High School? I think both of them have a pool, right? Or either one of the two of them have a pool. I don't remember if South Shore had a pool anymore. I don't remember, but I think Canarsie High School does, or James Madison. The question that I'm asking you is
Madison.
Right.
Canarsie don't have no pool. We don't have no pool. The only tiny bitty pool, as a matter of fact, my plan is to put pools too. The only tiny bitty one we have is in Mill Basin.
Okay. But it goes to the question of how well can you earmark some of the monies that you have allocated to the schools, open it up to going back to the caller's question, the viewer's question, to say, I'm earmarking the money, if you want to be part of my program, and I'm going to the schools to say, hey, you need to have open up your school at least from 6 to 9 or from this to that, so that the community, not just the children who attend that school, but the community have access in while we're trying to search for a place to build a community center. How hard, how easy is that? Because I think even though it might be like I tell people, there's the ideal and then there is the real, right? Because the ideal means I want to just, hey, boom, there's a community center. But realistically, there is no space to have one unless you do eminent domain, but we can utilize these spaces. So what is your response to that?
I want all school building to open up. I want extended hours. Maybe you haven't followed me in the city council then.
But this is.
I want all of them.
This is the response to them. Yeah? This is the response to your constituents who are wondering, how do you have access to this program? And that's what I know what you're doing, but they might not.
I want all school building to open to all our kids. We have to keep them busy, because idle mind, idle hands, we know what happened. And I raised 4 children. Everything that I had to travel far for gonna be in my district. And especially, like I tell everyone, I start from the bottom up. Where the needs are the most, that's where I'm concentrating while I'm representing everyone, because I'm here in this space to represent everyone. But at the same time, we have to know that some areas were neglected for decades that need to catch up. And that's my concentration. And it's not that, I know some folks may say, okay, it's only Canarsie on Flatlands, but if it's Canarsie, if it's Canarsie and Flatlands that have the most needs, that's where my focus is gonna be. Because as a nurse, is a triage nurse on top of it. What you do, you go to the patient that cannot wait for tomorrow. You go to the patient that just only have a few seconds. So I have to save lives. That's the same approach that I'm taking to the city council. So right now I'm studying, and then I'm not gonna tell you because I have my meetings in order for a lot of things to happen. And very soon, a lot of things will be shifting. And I'm not, because when I go to folks, it's not that I'm talking from an abstract place. I'm talking from a very concise, because I know raising my 4 kids in this district, the things that I had to do. I had to travel for everything for those boys and the girl. So right now, the blessing is I finished raising mine, and I'm all for my community, for the mothers. I got their back. So I'm in strategy of getting a lot of place open in extended hours. And to go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, Andrea, put that comment back up from that parent. She's a parent in your district.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she addressed that. Mercedes spoke about that. That
hours that you're looking at, because I know that what are the hours that you're looking at these schools to be open for? Her child will be her child is going to be attending the new Lennox Academy, and congratulations on having a full middle school, new middle school in your district as well. And Flatlands over there. So I guess she wants to. Will there be funding to keep the schools open after hours? And I think after. Are you asking, Nicole, after hours being what time? Because
I'm looking for a school to open the school building for the programs to run until 7 o'clock.
Okay,
at least for 7 o'clock. But if I could get them longer, I would. But talking about all the things that we need, all the things that I just mentioned is something. I mean, those are the things that should have been in our communities, especially when you don't have money to pay extra for getting a tennis court, to get a swimming. That I'm not going to talk about yet, because that one is a little further down the line, because I'm looking up space for the swimming pool where we can strategically place our swimming pool. We know most of our guys playing
basketball,
soccer and basketball. And then, the older one plays soccer. They want to teach their kids how to play soccer. So they need the field. But even though it costs a lot of money, that's what I heard from before, it costs a lot of money. I'm not going to lie to you. 15 million for a soccer field, but it's well deserved. Those are the things that we're going to do to engage our young folks from early on. And the young women too, not only the young boys. Now, I want all the young girls to be playing sport, because the study has proven that most women in corporate world had played a sport. So now, as a mom, all my antennas up to make sure that we get those young folks everything they need to be successful. We cannot asking them to be successful. We're not creating the structure. We're not giving things that needed to take them to the next level.
Help the village come back together. That's what you're saying.
That's it. That's it.
I have another question. Go back to the tennis question now. That is asking. I know my children, and I'm gonna ask this question from a selfish perspective, right?
Right. So we know.
Well, I have to. Right. I have 21-year-old children. Right. Well, they think they're grown men, but they're kids. And so they play tennis. Tennis is one of the most expensive sports.
It is
out there. Right. And so my question to you, right, is this: the city parks charge so much money for permits for these young people that are just not affordable. Is there any programs that your office or anybody else? Marine Park has a lot of courts. I know a lot of people want to have access to these courts to help allow them. Like we talk about obesity, childhood obesity, all these different things. Which Dr. Brian started off with a question on the blood pressure and the silent, and what are some of the things, and what are things to help of making themselves better. Are there any programs that is going to happen? I think last I checked, the permit was around $200, right, per season to play outdoor tennis. Is there anything that you're going to be having maybe something you could take back to Parks and Recreation to say, hey, maybe these permits are a little bit too costly for people, especially within our community, because you can't just look at the AMI, because the AMI is not a true reflection of everybody in my constituents.
I definitely in agreement with you. Listen, I live in the district since I was 17 years old. I am addressing every issue to make sure. You see, District 46, as long as I'm alive here doing this, by the time I finish, a lot of things will be not just saying it, it will be addressed in documents that are going to leave decades to come. Yes, I'm very well in tune with that, because if you put a tennis court and then you're not making it like reasonable, I'm not saying for it to be totally free, but it will be having conversation with our constituents and making sure what they think is reasonable. And I'm gonna present it to the folks that I need to present it to, whoever make decision, from parks to the city council. If we have to put it in the introduction to make a bill around it, whatever it takes. Rudy, I'm not playing. I've been there, done it, seen the suffering and the things that we cannot have.
I in 1987, 88, when I was a pup, then Mayor Koch had a tennis program, and I'm actually shocked that I actually remember that, that for young people. And I think part of her conversation is, will there be at these nice tennis courts during the summer, maybe programs that you're working? Maybe that's what she wants to know. I don't know if you know the answer, or maybe you want her to call your office, because I don't want you to give an immediate answer if you don't know the answer immediately. Programs that are coming into the district, not going to USTA for it, or going to Prospect Park. I know that they have that, but within your own district that you're working with. And I mentioned Marine Park as one of the places that have nice, beautiful tennis courts for summer programs for the kids. I don't know if you know the answer. If not, they can always call your office and you can research that information to give to them. I don't know the answer to that.
So what was the question at the beginning? I know about the tennis
access court.
Access to those courts.
Teaching that we answered that already. Teaching young people the tennis at limited to no cost to parents.
That I don't know what the course is for Marine Park, for the park itself, because the park, you have to do application to the park in order to get to the
no. I mean, like as a summer camp, for example, you have the you know how you can go to schools, and you can have the children can go to school for the summer, and they're good to go and they have opportunities. But tennis is an expensive
sport,
right? And so I guess the parent is asking, will there be coaching access for young people throughout the summer?
I don't have a program for tennis court for this summer. But as the next summer comes, because that's what the plan is, to lead those young folks to play tennis. By the time we have a tennis court in Canarsie, so at least they have a place. If the parents want their children to play tennis, they should be calling my office. So we make a plan to make sure whatever out there, I will look into it and making sure that their kids can have access to play tennis, because I'm preparing the next generation to come. Venus Williams, Serena. I want them in my district. This is a conversation I had with Lou Fiddler back in the days. When we put the skate ring, I wanted a tennis court there. That's how long ago I want a tennis court for our kids in Canarsie.
I failed to do something at the beginning. It's actually not my fault. It's actually your Haitian sister, so I'm blaming her, not me. I'm not taking no blame.
Don't take no blame.
Tell us who you represent, and what are you in charge of at City Council? You did talk about health and hospital.
It's so funny because the way I entered with a conversation about talking about the young men. That's due to my heart. Yes. So I didn't even introduce myself. I just gave. I guess because there's
a conversation, right?
So that's good. First, my name is Mercedes Narcisse. I represent the 46th district, the beautiful 46th district, starting from Canarsie, Flatland, Georgetown, Bergen Beach, Mill Basin, Mill Island, Marine Park, Garrison Beach, and Chipset Bay. So it's a pleasure to represent the 46th district. I have one of the largest districts, and there's a lot coming, especially when it comes to parks, when it comes to our school building, all the things. I'm reviewing everything from A to Z. All the things that I seen that I wanted for my own children. Now, guess what? God bless me with life. So I'm here in the position. So strategically, I'm going to move forward to make sure I support all the parents for all the great things for our children, because I am tired of people saying like those kids are not functioning while we're not giving them enough support. So I'm here to serve them in all capacity and address all issues, not only the young people, everything in my district. When it comes to food inequities, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to, of course, education, when it comes to housing, every opportunity that I get, I'm here to serve to the best of my ability to address the inequities and strike a balance. So that's the way, yeah.
Thank you, because you do represent my area. So,
let's get to the hard question.
No, I have a hard question.
Oh,
okay.
Mine wasn't hard. She doesn't even know my question before she got to her.
Well, I have.
Go ahead. It's your sister. I hear you.
So here it is. This week has been tragic for Haiti overall.
Oh my
God. The flood on Saturday, an earthquake during this week, and everything. Is there any way that your organization, your community, or whatever, is there anything being done to help some of the I guess to support what's happening?
That's not a hard question.
Whenever it comes to Haiti, it's kind of a hard. I didn't expect to talk about Haiti.
It was a hard question. Yeah,
it is hard for me personally, because Haiti is just my heart. It's just my heart is bleeding, and I try to, since I'm elected to represent. I'm here in the U.S. I'm here in Brooklyn. I'm here to represent the 46th district. But every time I think about where I came from, it's just hard for me, because I know the country that most people never had a chance to know. I know a country that's beautiful, a country that offered me so much, and it's unfortunate to see how it turned. And it's just, from coming from nursing, every problem have a solution. And I know there's solution. It doesn't require that much to help Haiti. Haiti have natural beauty. Like, sometimes I feel like when I'm talking about Haiti, people probably think that is my imagination, because they've never been there to see, to know the country that I knew. Those things should not happen. They're beautiful people. Yes, I'm helping, but no matter what I help with, I feel like, I don't know, the proverb that you remember, just like, I feel like I'm washing my hand. Like my grandmother used to say, you wash your hand and you drying with dirty towel. Like, you feel like nothing is just like you're doing, but you know there is things to be done. And I'm very disappointed with everyone in government that got Haiti to where Haiti is right now. And I don't think Haitian people over there deserve it, because it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful, I mean,
yeah,
it's the country like 100 years back, and because of greediness, because of selfishness, and people, and still today, I don't know if you know, I still have to take care of my children in the South, because we have a school that have over 400 children there. But thank God the flood is not where they are.
Thank God.
Thank God for that. We suffered a lot with Matthew. Matthew kind of break the school down. We're trying to build. And every time you're trying to build for those kids, and those kids are so smart and so much potential. It's just like, every time I'm thinking about it, I just give, but I feel like it's nothing. There's nothing I can give right now, except if I can get rid of the government and start planting trees, start getting people back on track, because the school have 400 kids. I feel like the plan was this president, Maryse Cadet.
Where is the school located?
In the South, in the Renier, that we started. And my heart goes, Maryse Cadet give everything to start this. And I started to give all my energy toward that. And to see that going deteriorating, to see how we all, like right now I'm elected and there's barrier to prevent me from doing what I used to do. for the school. But I still do my personal, but I cannot raise money. I cannot do things that I usually get involved to do. And I feel like my hands tied behind my back. And those kids are so amazing. So I just can do things on limited level. And it's a choice between being an elected official and they tell you this is what you can do. You cannot even support nonprofit. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. So my heart is even breaking even harder because the amount of things I usually do. My partner is still doing as much as he can. But I feel like it's just like you cannot belong to any nonprofit organization. And it's hard. And
well, you know what? It's a good thing you put it out there. Didn't know you had a school. So
no, not my school. It's
no,
our
school. Right. Yeah. Didn't know. Right. And definitely to put out there 400 kids who need support. Yeah, that's now it's something to know that, hey, that's something that we could strive towards. Maybe visiting one day.
You should, because Mary's cadet that started it, she has that vision, and I was the sister to hold her hand, which I cannot promote here, but I was her partner. But then again, with the restriction of the council, I can only do limited things for my personal, but I cannot go out there and expose it as much. So,
but it shows your heart with children, your tie with children, not only in the United States, but international. And that's why you stay so young.
Let me share a brief story with you. My daughter and her friend prepare a program to teach the kids in Haiti, right? And in Renier, in ACR, in the South. That when my children and her friend put their program together to teach the kids, and that's supposed to be in the high school level, right? One of them was French from Europe, because she was in Juilliard. So one of them was from France, speak French, and was able to help my daughter to prepare the program to present it in French. They went into school, a program they prepared for 1 week, because we were 1 week they're supposed to teach. Do you believe that in 2 days they were able to did the whole program, and they were amazed by the intelligence of those young kids?
Yeah. The value of education. The value of education internationally is on such a higher level. And that is something that I strive, and I pray that people will value education the way that they do internationally up here and all over the United States. So thank you for answering. Thank you. That connection, especially Saturday, having a celebration about being the first independent
republic.
Black Republic. So it was the same day that tragedy occurred. But still yet, Haitian people are resilient.
Oh, we are. And then as a nurse, I volunteer for over 15 years with NOAA, Medinova. We go to different part, the northern part of Haiti, and everything. So I'm very involved, by the way, with everything that's happening in the back end.
So I want to bring you back to your local government.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
So there are two issues that's bothering me. And first of all, it's just a yes, no. Are we going to tax Canada for this bad year? Just yes.
We're going to tax what?
Tax Canada for giving us this bad year.
Really?
That was a joke. But in a serious level, more serious level, we have a housing crisis.
Yes. Yes, we do.
In New York City.
Yes, we do.
Coming from the migrants.
Yep.
Two, coming from we started off the show of me going ranting about tenants not paying rent, landlords having issues, and also the high prices, the migrants issue. Tell us a little bit about City Hall. I don't know if you want to group it all together, because we only have about 2 or 3 minutes left with you. I don't know if you want to lump it all together in the housing crisis and what you're doing in the council. What are all the 51 members doing in the council to, one, relieve tenants, two, relieve landlords, because there's a landlord issue as well, tenant issue, the migrants issue, and those issues. I don't know if you could lump it up in a couple of minutes.
Let me tell you something. First, we have to build. If we don't build, we're not gonna have, because there's a demand, right? So we have to build. If we don't build, we're gonna be having the same problem, because if we build more housing that we build, the lower the price can go. And then the second part of the housing right now, I don't know if you heard about the mayor want to get the building. He was with the state trying to get the office building,
commercial buildings,
commercial, to turn into apartments. I think that's a great thing. I support this dearly, because we need to build, and we don't have space really. And if we have to build up, like I think Bill de Blasio, before he left, he said he can see the city become higher. And but higher is not for us. Black and brown communities, Latinos and Black folks gonna still be at the lower end, because you know why? Because we don't make the money we make. So we have to make sure we work with unions to increase the pay parity. I'm sure you've been seeing me on the street going crazy for pay parity, starting with nurses, every aspect, the doctors, the resident, everybody that want to call me about pay parity. I believe in that, because if you don't have that money to bring it up for people to be able to pay the rent, and then right now, in order for the landlord right now to decrease the price, the only way it's going to decrease is by increasing the amount of renters, space that we have, apartments, houses, whatever it is. So that's where we're at. So
I have an issue when I hear that we have a housing crisis, right? Mm-hmm. The growth of New York City has not grown. It has decreased in the last two census. Where did these people live before? Why the movement now? And second of all, is it a concept of we need more building, or the rent is too damn high?
The rent is too damn high, that's for sure.
Right.
But you cannot, how you gonna, do you have a theory for that? How that, I never heard that change anyhow. When the rent goes high, it doesn't go down. The only way it's gonna go down is you increase the amount of space that you have. If you increase more rent, you have more apartments in the market that you renting as a lower price, then you challenge those private landlords to force them to decrease their price, because they're going to be holding their apartment by themselves.
In the community in which I represent, I see apartments going up and they're empty because the rent is so high. Mm-hmm. So I know 50 apartments right now because the landlord is charging for one bedroom, charging $2,000 a month,
which is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous. So is it a conversation? And I see our producers telling me that we're running out of time, right?
Sorry.
So the issue for me is it really that we need more space, and again I go back to that question: is it that we need more space, or we need to talk to these private developers, private landlords? They come to me and they go, council member, I need to buy your house. And I'm going to charge you, I'm going to pay you, your house is worth $700,000 because they now give the market at that. But I'm going to give you $850,000 for your house. And then now they have to make that money back. So now they make it from a 2-story to a 5-story. And then they charge all this rent because one they had to pay to break down and build up.
They have it as of right. So there's nothing we can do.
Exactly.
But if we as government creating spaces where we decrease the amount of prices, then they will know their game got to stop. So that's what I'm looking at. If we increase the amount of houses from the government level where our price is reasonable, according to an AMI, and AMI, I don't believe in that. We just have to reset that AMI because it has to be a true AMI, which we don't have that, by the way. When they're talking about AMI right now, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But now, if we as government have those spaces and we're re-renting throughout, especially we started with teachers, we should give teachers a reasonable price, nurses, everyone that working for government.
They used to.
Those market. You will see how
homes and HUD homes is another.
They used to. That was years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm That's the angle I've been talking around the city council. Once we start doing that, giving spaces more reasonable to every employer of our city that need it, then you take a big portion of folks out of that system. And then those landlords that think they're gonna pay, like they're gonna charge $2,000, they were not gonna have anybody to pay $2,000. Though they were forced to bring it even lower. So that's the only way we have out of this crisis. If we're standing there, we're not doing that. Guess what? Those private developers gonna keep on continue buying little house, and then waiting for $2,000-$3,000 because they know they're gonna get people to do. So now we increase pay parity. We do the pay parity, right? We increase pays, and then we get the government. We actually 30% of your pay, you're gonna get a space in the governmental building. Then you don't think that the private developer is gonna stop their nonsense? They're not gonna hold their apartment for all these years that they're holding it because they know they're gonna make their money. That's why they're holding it. By the way, Frank said hello, and Frank said, "Do not stay with that chest pen without being addressed."
Yes, I'm just playing background music to tell me that our time is up.
You see how he quit? He changed the topic.
Right? I know. That's the time we gotta go, Mercedes.
No. Frank, I love you, man. You know, thank you, Frank. So thank you everyone for listening, viewing, sharing,
being on.
Right, participating on The Village. I am Roderick Daly. I am your host. Dr. Bryant is our co-host. Dr. Sampson has been gone, and thank you to our council member Mercedes Narcisse.
Yes.
I'm representing the foot and
how can they reach you?
District leader.
How can they reach you?
718-241-9330, and I'm on 5827 Flatlands Avenue, and all the organization, all the program. I'm gonna make sure our kids have access. If I'm gonna have a private organization to come, from around the city to teach our kids tennis, soccer, all the things, I'm gonna create the tennis, all the Venus Williams, Serena Williams. I'm gonna have Tiger Woods. I'm gonna have all those sports folks around. Trust me, because those are our children.
Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Everyone, enjoy your weekend. Do make sure you stay outside, stay inside, stay away from the bad environmental conditions that's going on.
Right.
Keep your kids inside, and love
wear
you.
your mask.
Enjoy your weekend. God bless.
Thank you, Ms. Bryan.
All right.
Thank you so much for being.
I wanted you guys to speak a little bit in Creole, but it didn't.
Yeah, bonsoir tout le monde et merci pour tendre nous et n'a pas nous Haïti a monter encore. Merci.
Okay. All right.
I understood that. Take care.
All right. Take care.